Our next son owns a cruiser in Hastings he keeps. And I'm sure that this boating and river thing, as little kids, we took them everywhere with us as rubbed off, because our next son has 2 boats. He has a duck boat for fishing in the river and for duck hunting, and then he has a speedboat, and he likes to fish in that in bigger water. And our youngest son, you never know how they're going to turn out, but he went to Missouri, University of Columbia, and got a master's degree in science of geology, and he is now a fluvial geomorphologist. And he just completed work on the Missouri River, retracing the Lewis and Clark Trail. And a lot of the work that they did kind of ties back to what we have here. He's helped me a lot. But they've taken overlay maps from the 1800s of the Missouri River to today, and they overlay them in transparencies on top of each other with the same dimensions and determine where the river has moved, and so maybe Lewis and Clark's campsite has moved. It's kind of what he did, but it's interesting. He just emailed me this, and I'd actually be happy to share it, but I've got the 1898 map and a 1991 map of this section of the river. And this is the transparency. And he was even shocked that it has barely changed in 100 years. And the thing that I found interesting in the history was when I'm in the boat, all the structures that were there in 1898 are still there. They have moved to a degree, but not very much. To show you where we are, if you look at the map up here, you can see the Coon Rapids Dam at the top of the page. And down at the bottom, you can see where the northerly end of the 9-foot navigation channel ends. That location is 7.5 miles from where the Coon Rapids Dam ends to where the 9-foot channel begins. When you think about it, maybe going to a different view, our section of the river is in a scenic and wild river, wild and scenic waterway, and part of the river, if you get down to the Crow River all the way to Hastings, is actually a national park. And a lot of people don't realize that we are actually, that portion of the river is a national park. If you think about it, in that national park, there's barge traffic, there's grain elevators, there's industry, there's pleasure boating, they're all mixed in it. There's docks, there's restaurants. They utilize it, but they are also trying to protect it. So our section of the river is just the scenic section of the river. And what I also want to point out here too, if you look at where we are from Elk River, we're at mile 884. And if you don't know what that is, 884 means we are 884 miles from the mouth of the Ohio River at Cairo, Illinois. That's where mile 0 is. Then the river marks start over again down to the Gulf of Mexico. So if you look now from 884 to Red Wing, I've got here, that's 93 miles. And to Lake City, down on Lake Pepin, 111 miles from Elk River. In my travels on the river, the most miles I've ever covered in one day is 160 miles. So when you really think about this, it's not very far. Everybody seems to think we're on a different planet when it comes to the river up here. And it's not so. So that's part of to make everybody a little bit more informed. The Coon Rapids Dam, I want to point out, does have some problems. I think in your packets, I maybe put a picture like this in there. That's a scour hole that's developed in the dam. And that concrete apron is washing away. This is a letter that's on the screen now from March from Beth Nash at the as Public Affairs Coordinator for the Three Rivers Park District, who owns the dam, saying that the scour hole is a serious problem, but it's not going to jeopardize the dam at this time, but it has to be addressed. With that in mind, there has been a commission set up, because the Three River Parks can't afford this dam. They don't want to fix it. They don't know what to do with it. They're trying to get anybody to take it over. You might know some of these names. Dale Hormuth, the DNR, has said that the term white elephant comes up when you talk about the Coon Rapids Dam. They also said that ecologists, stream habitat people would rather tend towards the dam being removed. So there is a special committee set up right now, and I was kind of upset that they didn't ask Elk River when they asked the legislature to set up this commission to research it, to be a part of it. They only asked people to be a part of that committee that were on either side of the 6 Mile Lake. That's the only place that affects the depth of the water. And then DNR, Army Corps, Fish and Wildlife people to be involved. And I've been dealing with all of these people for the last year or so. Very nice people, and they're not that difficult to work with. But I think Elk River should have some say or be involved in this a little bit. And the reason I say that is these blank problems just cost too much. They've already spent, I've got the number here, but they've spent since 1974 about $11 million in repairs on the dam. And it's coming out of state money. It's coming out of tax dollars. The park doesn't have the money to pay for this stuff. Now they're looking at anywhere from 6 to 11 million to make the repairs if they want to keep it. Flying carp is the reason that's being told. Asian carp is why they want to fix the dam, and that the state should pay for it, because these Asian carp that are now not taking a standhold anywhere in Minnesota, below Lock 12, which is quite a ways down, there are some. I would think that I'd hate to see the Asian carp be used as a ploy to get money from the state. I've done a lot of research on that too. At Upper St. Anthony Falls, if they got here, they couldn't jump over it. They just closed the gates. They would lose. There's one business above St. Anthony Falls, and there's 2 marinas. And if this fish did become a problem, I would think the boats down there, if we didn't have the dam, would really enjoy rather taking their weekends and driving their boats north, where there is no barge traffic and there's more wildlife and it's more serene and more beautiful. And the city could take advantage, of course, of having docks and things of this nature so that people could actually come into our city and increase our tourism. If the dam was removed, which is really not something to worry you as a council, but I do intend to go to the Regional Dam Commission meetings starting tomorrow and look at some of the stuff. But if the dam was removed, their pool wouldn't be gone, it would be smaller, the lake it creates, because there's so much silt in it now. Dale from the DNR has said that if the dam was removed, the silt would just wash away. The homeowners then would gain access to go south, and if we had a channel marked to come up here, they could come north. So really, I don't know if I pointed it out well enough, but what I'm asking for is help in studying what we can do with the river here so that we can mark it, so that we can travel by boats, pontoon boats, small boats, north and south throughout this area without commercial. I talked about this map a little bit to try and spare you guys some time. I know it has been a long evening, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. This is that map, though, from 1898, where the Army Corps did work on this river, and in here is this river. If you look at it, you can see the structures in the river, and I can go out and show you those if you want to wade in the water. It's there. But what's happened over the past 100 years is ice, and back even in the logging days, logs and debris have moved a lot of those rocks into what was the channel. So now we can't use it as safely because of things man did.